Interstate 4. Yeah! Alright, we are rebooting I-4 because the first I-4 video is terrible. I'm probably actually going to delete it soon after this one is released, but it is atrocious. So we're talking I-4, we're talking Florida. Let's take a look at the route. We see it goes from Tampa to Daytona, and for a long time it was the lowest numbered interstate in the system. We have I-2 now. You're watching Control City Freak. This is the YouTube channel where we talk about highways and the places that they're signed to go to. If you dig this kind of content, why not give us a like? And if you really like it, why not subscribe? Yeah, subscribe. I should also mention that you can add a super thanks to any video and request your exit requests. We're doing US 52 next week, so I hope to have lots of stuff on that one. That's going to be really cool. And the week after that, the Chiefs are playing the Jets, so let's go Garden State Parkway. So if you got requests for the Garden State Parkway, Jersey people, where you at? Send it my way. Alright, let's talk about Eastbound I-4. I-4 begins here near downtown Tampa. We see 4 East Orlando and 275 with the terribly signed Ocala. Going the other way on 275, it is signed for Tampa International Airport and St. Petersburg on South 275. 4 is signed for Orlando as well it should be. Shortly after getting onto I-4, we have an exit for the East-West Tollway, the Leroy Selman Tollway. It is signed for Brandon. And on the outskirts of town, we get I-75, which is signed for Ocala for some reason, and for Naples for some reason. Not really too much of a fan of either of those. Check my I-75 videos for complaints on that. At our first mileage sign, we get Plant City 7. Lakeland is our secondary city at 18 miles away, and Orlando at 68. At random interchanges, we do get I-4 East Orlando, so no surprise. Our next mileage sign is an overhead one. We're getting County Line Road, Lakeland, and Orlando. And here we meet Toll 570, the Polk Parkway, a beltway around Lakeland and Winter Haven, and it is also signed for Lakeland and Winter Haven. Here in the Lakeland area, we meet US 98, the highest numbered east-west US 2-digit highway, obviously, because it wouldn't be possible to have a higher one. There is no Highway 100 further south. And here we're meeting the Polk Parkway once again. This time it's signed for Auburndale, because, you know, if you're going to Winter Haven or Lakeland, you would have gotten off already. Our next mileage sign, US 27, is our secondary control city, and Orlando at 34 at the bottom. Do you feel like Disney World could be a secondary control here? Here is US 27 for Haines City and the former site of Royal Spring Training. I have actually been there for that. And here we're meeting the general Disney section of the road. We got 192 coming up for Kissimmee. Kissimmee could have been a good secondary city at that last sign too. And we get a toll road for Disney World and Celebration and the airport. A lot of stuff going on in this interchange. We'll look further down. We see further on, yeah, we get North Toll 417 for Orlando International Airport and for Sanford, which also has an international airport, so that's a little confusing. Disney World next right, and Celebration, the formerly Disney-owned city, exit here. Next up, we get 192 for Kissimmee and Magic Kingdom. This was the major exit for Disney World up until the new road was built, the road that we just saw there. And then we get 4 East Orlando pull-through, and Epcot is this exit, because Disney World, again, huge. We are 5 miles into Disney World exits here. And now exit 72, we are getting the B line, or now known as the Beach Line Expressway, which goes to the airport and to Cape Canaveral, Cape Kennedy, lots of stuff over there. Here we have our exit for Universal Studios and International Drive. 4 is now signed for Daytona Beach, even though we have not actually entered downtown Orlando yet. We're meeting Florida's Turnpike, which is signed for Miami, and for some reason Ocala. Continuing north, the Orange Blossom Trail, one of the most notorious roads in the Orlando metro area. I've never actually driven on it, but I've heard not good things. And now we're meeting the East-West Expressway. There's toll roads all over the place, and they're all for something. They're all 3-digit numbers that are not easy to remember. People have explained it to me, but I still don't know why they don't just go with more simple 2-digit numbers for Florida routes. Let's take a look from the express lanes. We can see the Orlando skyline here and South Street coming up. And here is a look at the Orlando skyline from I-4. And taking a bird's eye view, here is I-4 going through central Orlando. 4 is still signed for Daytona Beach, and now we are getting Sanford next exit, along with Toll 417. We cross the St. Johns River and a lake here, and St. Johns River will take you all the way up to Jacksonville. And here's an exit request from 6 months ago. Really Bad Driving wants to see exit 108 for Daytona on I-4, so here it is. Thanks so much, really appreciate it. At random interchanges, it is I-4 East Daytona Beach. And on our last mileage sign, we get 92, 9, I-95, 12, and that's our last exit, Daytona Beach, 18. So we go beyond the limits of I-4 on this mileage sign. Here we have our bump with US 92. We don't actually cross US 92 at this point, but we do have an exit for it, and 92 will take you right into the heart of Daytona Beach, or you can stay on I-4 and take 95 to 92 again. And we are about to meet I-95, 95 sign for Miami and Jacksonville, as well it should be 400 east for Daytona Beach. I think 400 is actually the Florida route name for I-4 as well. And here we get our ramp, so we see 95 north, and you can get back to 92 that we just saw a minute ago, and 95 south Miami. Traffic defaults in a northbound, so we will too, so let's take a look at the overpass heading over I-95, and we can see the Daytona Speedway in the distance there as well, as it's right at I-95 and US 92. Alright, let's talk about westbound I-4. On South 95, we get this sign for Daytona Beach, Orlando, and US 92. This is before the US 92 exit. This is a big exit, 260 CBA. Once we are on the exit, first we have an exit for US 92 for Daytona Beach, and it'll actually meet back with I-4 if you go westbound. And ahead, we got Orlando, South Daytona on I-4 and Highway 400. And now we see we can exit west for Orlando here, and we can stay on this road to go back onto the road we're already on, or to take the cloverleaf onto Eastbound 400 for South Daytona. Our first mileage sign is pretty interesting because Orlando is actually kind of the secondary. We get Orlando 47 and Tampa 127. I think they probably do it this way because we end up in the Orlando suburbs very soon after getting onto I-4. Although they could make Sanford a secondary here. Here we're meeting a couple of toll road state highways. We've got the East Beltway and the West Beltway, 429 and 417, and we see Sanford will be coming up as well. Just to the right of I-4 in downtown Orlando, we see the O-Arena, where the Magic play, or whatever it is they're calling it these days. And here we get our first pull through for Tampa, as we have an exit for Anderson Street in central Orlando. We meet Florida's Turnpike again, still signed for Miami and Ocala. And at random interchanges, you get 4 West Tampa and 4 East for downtown Orlando. So they're not saying Daytona Beach here, even though we're fairly close to downtown Orlando. We can also see Disney and Universal left lane as well. Here is our exit for Universal Studios. Interesting that they just say Universal. And I had to get off the road a little bit, but we have a pretty good view of Universal Studios and the roller coasters at Islands of Adventure there from this overpass. We're heading back toward the Disney World area, so we see Epcot and Disney Springs this exit, and Disney World, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios 1 mile. The Osceola Parkway takes you to Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, and then we see 192 for Magic Kingdom a little further down the road. Here is the famous mouse, power station, electricity pole thing that is right by I-4 and one of the Disney World exits. At random exits in the Disney World area, we get 4 East Orlando and 4 West Tampa. We get a mileage sign here. Lakeland is our secondary at 23 miles away, Tampa at 53. Here we're meeting that Polk Parkway again, and now we get Auburndale and Lakeland signed on there, because going this way, if you wanted to go to Lakeland, it's your faster route. At our next mileage sign, we get Junction 75 and Junction 275 as our laundry list of exits here. So interesting, not actual control cities, but roads. We meet I-75 once again, Ocala and Naples. And now we're meeting US 92 to 301 Busch Gardens, and this is actually the exit for the Florida State Fairgrounds as well. I'm not sure why they don't list that, and it's kind of an inconvenient way to Busch Gardens. You're probably better off taking 275. Coming toward the end of I-4, we get this left exit for Port of Tampa on the Selman Expressway, the toll road there. And our last exit, we're getting cruise ships, 22nd Street, 21st Street. I don't know why they don't mention Ybor City. Maybe there's a sign along the way for Ybor City, I forget. And I didn't see one when I was looking at this. But this is the exit for Ybor City, which is the primary entertainment district in central Tampa. Coming toward the end, we're meeting 275. So 275 signs south for Tampa International and St. Petersburg. just as it was on its own pull-throughs, and 275 north for Ocala. We default onto the South 275 ramp, and we get a pretty good view of downtown Tampa as we come down that. Alright, let's talk about TODs the way it should be for Interstate 4, something we didn't do the first time around, but 4 is pretty obvious. I'm going to say it should be Eastbound, Orlando, and Daytona Beach, as it is, and Westbound, Orlando, Tampa, and then maybe some St. Petersburg thrown in there too. I do think Disney would be a good secondary control city, but I understand it not being a primary since it's a private enterprise. Alright, thank you so much for watching this episode of Control City Freak. I really appreciate it. And as I said, we will be back with US 52 next week, so if you've got any requests for that, that'll be a big one. And then I'm planning to do the Garden State Parkway thereafter in honor of the Chiefs hopefully beating the Jets. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep on trucking.